Hello everyone, we're going to talk a few minutes about the metric system here tonight. And the first thing you can see is take a look at my little cartoon that I have here. We're going to have a conversion exchange and we're going to deposit our feet here and pick up our meters here. Hopefully you'll have a little smile there with that one. All right, so we're going to talk quickly a little bit about history. Let's see how well you know the metric system. What units do we have to use to measure length, mass, or volume? Or do you feel like you know the English system much better? So if these are 1 quart each, how many gallons are pictured? Might have to do a little bit of converting there, or think about that 4 quarts to a gallon, I think it is. Let's try something easier like inches and feet. How many inches are in a foot? How many feet are in a yard? How many yards, feet, and inches are in a mile? We can do that by just moving the decimal, right? Ever watch a horse race? What's a furlong? A furlong? Why? What in the English unit do they say that I have to have a different measurement for horse racing? 220 feet or 1/8 of a mile. So there's really no rhyme or reason to the English system. And this started the beginning of the metric system worldwide. So in 1770, you can see King Louis XVIII of France, he was so worried about the inconsistencies because what they used to do is they would measure things by the size of the king foot, or they would do it by a cubit, which would be the distance from his elbow to the length of his hand. And they say it's 10 cubic or 10 feet with his feet. And there just was no rhyme or reason. So he was the one that said that we had to have an international system of measurement. Now, if you remember a little bit about our history, France was not someone that we really wanted to obey and do the same thing that they were doing. So we did not adopt this because it mainly came from France. So in this international system of measurement, you can see that the abbreviation here is what you're going to need to know, is that it's System International. We have converted that to the International System of Measurement. And you can see that it was formally done in France in 1790 and adopted internationally in 1960. Now that's really not that long ago in terms of our history. Now, how did they figure this out? Well, it's a mathematical representation, and they wanted to find something that was a measurable piece, like a bar is what they first called it. And so this bar, they figured out that by dividing the distance from the equator to the North Pole by this distance right here, by 10 million, a convenient length was defined. And they called this the bar. By the way, you don't have any of this in your notes. This is just some background information for you, just so you can understand the metric system a little bit. So the U.S. continues to use our inch-pound metric system versus the metric system. We spend a lot of money converting everything into the metric system, because if you take a look at this, the countries in red are the only ones not using the metric system. Well, I think you guys know that we export all kinds of things and we import all kinds of things. We have to export things in the metric system. Things come to us in the metric system, and we spend a lot of money converting that so that we as consumers can understand that. And you can see here all these different measurements that really don't make any sense in terms of if you really understand the metric system. So here's a ruler here. You can see that we have inches and we have centimeters, and oftentimes they'll just round that 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters or simply 2.5. That's the easiest conversion to remember between the two. So the meter is the starting point for the metric system. As you saw on that world, it's called the bar. So here's a meter stick, or the bar as they used to call it. They divided that by 10. It makes 10 decimeters. Divided by 10, and you have a centimeter. We can also divide that by 10, or one more time, they have 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. Divide that by 10, and you have 10 millimeters make up 1 centimeter. See my little cartoon there? Boy, that is really small. But everything is just divided by 10, so it's simply moving the decimal. We cannot do that in the English system. So you do have this, I think, in your notes, possibly. Don't worry about it if it's not there. You have this on a gold sheet. And in here, we are mainly going to be talking about kilo, deci, centi, and milli. And you do have this. You can find this on one of your gold sheets where it says chemistry formulas. You also have this on the top of your homework for chapter 5, homework number 4, I think it is. And what we're going to do, this is our base unit right here. And so the base unit is going to be your gram, liter, and meter. So if you take a look at that on your homework, so go ahead and pause this and get out your homework. I'm going to view this to a wider width so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So we are going to be dealing exclusively with the metric system. I know some of you are not too excited about that, but that's what we're going to be doing. And the basic units you can see for mass is a gram, volume is a liter, and length is going to be the meter. Now, we can go ahead and you can see that all it is moving the decimal point. And you can see everything here is based on powers of 10. So if we take a look down here, you are not going to have to memorize this number line. You're just going to have to know how to use it. Like I said, it's on one of the gold sheets. So our base unit, again, is going to be the meter, the liter, and the gram. So if we take a look, we have 17.3 kilograms. Always start with what is given and then move to the direction of what you're looking for. So I am starting with kilograms, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the right is going to get to my base unit gram. So I do the same thing, and I take my decimal and I move it 1, 2, 3 to the right. So it is 17,300 grams. So 17.3 kilograms equals 17,300 grams. No fancy dividing by 12 and 3 if we talk about feet and yards and all these different things in the English system. So again, I'm going to start at my base unit meter here, and I'm going to go to centimeter. So let me grab another color here so you can see this. So I'm going to start at my base unit meter, and I'm going to centimeters. 1, 2 to the right, there's centi. Take your decimal and move 2 to the right in the same direction. So this is going to be 4.37. Okay, I'm going to jump over here to number 11 since it's at the top of the screen, and you're going to see that there's a lot of movement here. So we can see that, let me grab another color, that we are going from centimeters to megameters. Mega being way over here on our number line. So my decimal point is right here, and I'm going to go from centimeters. So I'm going to go 1, 2 on that side, and mega is 6. So you can see that I'm going all the way to there, which that's what these numbers are kind of helpful for, so you don't have to count all the way through. So I'm actually going to move 8 spaces, and I'm going to the left. The other 2 I did to the right. This one I'm going to go to the left, so I got 3 to the left, and then I'm going 8 more. So I am going to be adding a bunch of zeros here, 5 of them to be exact. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 2, 7. Now, some of you might be more comfortable in doing significant figures or scientific notation, excuse me, and so you might have written 4.27 times 10 to the negative 6th. And you might have been able to figure that out because you could see that it took you 2 spots over to get to 4.27. We said we need to do 8 to the left. So that would be that I would have 6 more to do, and so that would be times 10 to the negative 6. So if you can understand that little bit of math, that might be a little bit simpler for you. So that's about it. It's a pretty simple little thing. You're just going to be moving back and forth to convert our units. And in this class, once we get through this, we really are just going to be sticking to this part of our number line from kilos to milli. All right, have a wonderful night, and I will see you in class.